Hi everybody. We're here because we just watched the Netflix movie, The Trial of
The Chicago 7.
Trial of the Chicago 7. Now I'm going to leave it to my daughter here to explain to you, with no spoilers, what the movie is about.
I mean, the simplest way is about the trial of the Chicago 7, which was a historical event that happened in 1969, which was following the riots of 1968, I think.
In what city?
Chicago.
And of course.
Yeah.
At what event?
Oh, it was the Democratic Convention?
That's correct. That's correct. And what happened was there were these 7 fellows, all gentlemen, who were put on trial by the federal government, supposedly for inciting the riots. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why they call them the trial of Chicago 7. There was actually 8.
But one of them,
But they explain that in the movie anyway. So
and it's a fair explanation. So.
yeah. So this movie is directed by acclaimed writer, Oscar award-winning writer Aaron Sorkin. Also wrote the film, and it stars, among other people, it's got Sacha Baron Cohen, who many of you know as Borat. It has Mark Rylance. It has Eddie Redmayne. It's got Jeremy Strong. It's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It's got Yahya Abdul-Mateen, who just won an Emmy for his performance in The Watchmen on TV. It has Frank Langella, who plays a judge. It's got Michael Keaton, who's got a very, very small role, but it's very impactful and very important. And you know, several other people are in the film, but ultimately, it really is an actor's dream. So, what did you think of the film?
I liked it.
She always likes the movie, huh? You liked it.
We've yet to have a movie I haven't liked.
Yeah. We probably should do. We've watched movies that you don't
have
like.
watched movies that I don't like, so we don't do reviews on them.
Yeah, for whatever reason, but yeah. So this movie is definitely a contender for Best Picture at the Oscars.
For sure. And probably editing, supporting actor, maybe
Director, screenplay. Aaron Sorkin, of course, wrote the screenplay. He's an Oscar winner in the past. This movie was very well written.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go ahead and start right there. The movie was extremely well written. It was very interesting, and it kept our attention nonstop from start to finish.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was compelling, and
I think the characters were really fleshed out, which is partially the acting, partially the writing, and it was great.
Yeah, essentially they didn't flesh out all 7 of
No.
In fact, the 2 that weren't fleshed out kept making jokes about like
Why were they
who am I
here?
here? Why am I here? I don't even know
Yeah.
what's going on. But they did flesh out 5 of the so-called Chicago 7 were pretty well fleshed out, and then of course the 8th member, which was Bobby Seale, who was played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen, was also quite fleshed out, as it turned out. But it was definitely a courtroom movie. And if you like courtroom movies, I do. This film will appeal to you. There were moments of high drama as the lawyers went back and forth and the judge did his thing. And throughout the movie, it showed what I suppose a true story, something that happened in 1969. To be honest with you, most people don't really know that much about.
Yeah.
I learned about the riots when I was young, and I knew who the main character of this movie, Tom Hayden, who was played by Eddie Redmayne. I knew who he was. I can tell you that he was married to Jane Fonda, and he was an assemblyman in California, even while I was living in California. So he definitely is somebody who has a level of fame. The rest of them, I'd be honest with you, I wasn't really quite as familiar with it. And to be honest with you, I'm probably going to have to do a little bit of research on these people after this is all over. But But in general, I did find some of the stuff that happened in the trial is real, and there is a particular moment in the trial when something happens to one of the characters that, I mean, it's difficult.
It's ridiculous.
It's difficult not to be furious about that moment, and not to be just like spitting mad that this could have happened in the United States of America.
It was. It's hard to talk about without spoiling. I feel like I could go on a whole, like, just me being incredibly angry about it, but I'm not going to because that would spoil what I'm angry about.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, but yeah, it's very compelling. There were moments of high drama. And okay, so I talked about the writing. Let's talk about the next part of the movie, which was outstanding, which is the editing. The movie was edited in such a way to tell the story. They cut in old footage, stuff that I had seen before that from the time.
Like real footage from the actual event.
Actual event.
And you can sort of tell because of the difference in color saturation and all that. And it was...
And then they also went back and forth in time and used the editing as a storytelling function. And it was really awesome. It was really fun and interesting. Quite frankly, one thing I just want to say is that despite the subject matter, I believe that this movie was a fun movie.
Yeah, it was. There were obviously very serious moments. It's a serious movie, but it was a fun movie. I think I don't think it's like one of those movies that like is, since it's like something that happened historically, that you're just sort of like, nah, that's boring. I'm not gonna watch it. No, it's fun.
It's fun.
It's not boring.
It really was a fun movie. In fact, if you know, from Aaron Sorkin's point of view, it's almost like a combination of his writing from The West Wing, which he was the main writer on the West Wing TV show, which you never saw.
No, but I know what it is.
And then there was a movie, I don't know if you saw this one either, called A Few Good Men, which was a courtroom drama with Tom Cruise. He was the writer in that movie. This felt almost like a combination of The West Wing with A Few Good Men kind of combined together. Both very, very compelling and interesting writing. And when you take into account the editing and the way that they pulled it all together and allowed you to see it from all these different points of view. But let's just talk about some of the actors that we saw in this movie. So I listed out a whole bunch of them, but I believe that the lead is probably going to be considered Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah, he had the most lines, the most screen time,
Yes.
and it was definitely focusing about how he was reacting and how he was different from the other ones.
Yes, Tom Hayden, who was seen as not quite as, like, most of the rest of them had almost like either a hippie, or there was the one, John Carroll Lynch played a guy who was a conscientious objector, who was basically a non-violent person, who was probably one of the, he was almost like he was the adult in the room, if you think about it, because he was much older than the rest of them. But
He was a Boy Scout leader.
yeah, that was
such a good
yeah.
guy.
John Carroll Lynch is a very good actor, and he did that role excellently, and you never disbelieve that he should have been there amongst the rest of the group. But I'm gonna have to say something. Sacha Baron Cohen. Now, I am not a big fan of him personally. That's just me personally. I don't like him. I don't like the way that he comes off. But he's an extremely funny guy. And he's extremely, yes, the guy who played Abby Hoffman. He's an extremely funny guy. And he's an extremely talented guy. And this movie really showed his acting chops
Yeah,
in
he
a
was
huge way.
my favorite out of the bunch. I thought he was the best actor, but they were all good, so that's not like going against any of them.
Jeremy Strong played a slightly less notable character. He played Jerry Rubin. He was mostly there sort of like to play off of Abby Hoffman, really, more than anything else.
He was good, just wasn't as big of a character, really. He was a big enough character, but not as, like, Abby Hoffman, the actor, you know. He was a larger presence on the screen
Yeah.
than Strong.
Jeremy Strong, yeah.
Strong. So that's definitely something.
And of course, the very powerful performance of Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, which is a really cool name,
It's a really cool name.
who played Bobby Seale,
Yeah. So.
and he had just really a powerful performance of sort of like almost like the guy who's not even supposed to be
Yeah.
there. He didn't even belong with the rest of the group. He was a completely different part of the whole thing. He was treated differently. I think partially one of the reasons why he was treated so differently was because, of course, he was the black man who was there. And this is 1969 in the United States of America. And yeah, I mean, in the end, it did show sort of like the injustice in the way that government can use the Justice Department to basically go after people, you know. And you see it. I mean, it doesn't even matter who the political party that is in charge. People think it's only something that one side does or the other side does. This is something that is done. And you know what? I'm very glad that they shined a light on it because it's done. You know, people use the departments to go after one group or another group or one person that they don't like or another person that they don't like, and it's wrong. And to see it happen inside a courtroom and have it dramatized in a movie like this was quite awesome, quite frankly. But I thought it was a great movie. I think it's gonna get at least, let's see here, probably 2 acting awards nominations. Director, screenwriter, picture, and editing. So I predict we're looking at 6 Academy Award nominations for this film. It's got a shot at Best Picture. I don't really think that it's likely to win Best Picture, but it does have a shot at it. I think we're gonna have to see what Mank has to offer. I haven't seen Nomadland yet. I haven't seen Nomadland yet, but it's definitely right there. So anyway, now that the dog is asking for something, I guess we're gonna have to go. But anyway, please like this video and subscribe.
You didn't give it a rating.
Oh yeah, so I went on the Letterboxd and I rated this 4 stars out of 5.
I'd agree with that. Sure.
Yeah, it's not a perfect movie, but it's definitely an outstanding movie in a lot of different ways. So 4 stars out of 5. It's still not my favorite of the year. I'm thinking of Ending Things, which if you haven't seen,
video.
Yeah.
Go watch that.
But this one's definitely very close to that. So thank you very much and have a great day.
Like he was saying, subscribe,
Like,
and
subscribe, hit the bell.
Comment if you want. Do what you want.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Bye.